All right, man. Torture Talk. Like, share, subscribe to the page. 6 o'clock, baby. 6 o'clock. This is the evening show. 6 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. I hope y'all having a great night. Y'all just getting off work. I sound like WDLS in your car. Good night, everybody. Look, today we're going to be talking about female hip hop. And is it dying out? Is it going away? I don't give enough shine to female artists over here. So this episode is going to be about female hip hop. So we're going to get into that. Of course, we're going to watch a little video here and there. So I want to get my spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, if you're considering, let me work for your subscription. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content, and that is free. If you want to leave a donation, links will be on the screen. Cash App, PayPal is in the description, all that good stuff. Thank y'all for all the super chats. Thank y'all for all the donations. I got a piece of equipment. Really appreciate y'all. Y'all advancing my channel. I went from 1,300 subscribers. They called me the Hidden Gem. 1,300 subscribers. Now I'm over 8,000. About to hit 9. I'll be at 10 probably before the weekend is out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to reach 12 before next week. And that'll be a major milestone for me. And tell me where you from, man. I love to know where y'all from. You know, this is Torture Talk. If this is your first time here, we always agree to disagree over here, or we agree. We don't argue, we don't disrespect, we don't fight, we don't do none of that. I love all my followers and my subscribers. They're very important to me. You know what I'm saying? They changed my life, all that good stuff. So look, man, we're going to get into this video and we'll be back to discuss. Of course, I'm going to get my commentary, all that stuff. So we be back. All right, so this is video come from I Used to Be Pay. I guess that's his name. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but that's what it says. I used to be Pay. I used to be Pay. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it, man. Let's go.
Has never had a more prosperous time for women in the space than what we're seeing right now. There are a multitude of women who are, having a whole bunch of hits, going viral, selling albums, going on tours, pretty much anything that you can have in terms of success for a rapper. They're seeing that type of success right now. Names like Nicki Minaj, Meg Thee Stallion, Doja Cat, Lotto, Glorilla, they're all having success, and it's at the exact same time. And this is very unprecedented for the rap space. But
all right, so I want to speak on this real quick. He's right about certain things, but I will say Nicki Minaj has been doing it for a long time, so I would exclude her from the success that these other girls is having because she's been doing it for a while. Doja Cat, I believe, if we're talking about like female artists, Doja Cat is kind of like a Drake in a way, except she writes her own stuff. She's like Drake in a way where she sings and she raps. I mean, Nicki does that too, but Doja Cat is a little bit different. Now, the other girls we could talk about, but let's see what he got to say. This is interesting.
at the same time, there is a plague that has infected the female rap space and is attempting to kill the momentum from the inside out. What's good, YouTube? It's Justice I Used to Be Paying. Today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the plague that has infected the female rap space. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. Because rap is and pretty much always has been a male-dominated space, there tends to be less opportunities for women, especially when it comes to labels. And we all know how important.
I understand that. I always felt that way too, but you also got to understand that there's not a lot of females. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but there's not a lot of females who are trying to rap like that. There's some, but I'm talking about ones that take it serious. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of them throughout the whole history of rap. And it could be a multitude of reasons, but that's what that is in my opinion.
Labels are in the music game, especially in the rap game. You pretty much can't have success without a label at this point. I mean, maybe you can later on down the career when you're.
That's definitely not true. That's definitely not true. You can absolutely have success without a label. Absolutely. It's just that most artists, when they do blow, they get thrown towards a label or label throws so much money at them that they what's the name they fold. But you can absolutely, the way it's set up now, if you are an artist, you literally don't need a label. You don't. You don't need a label. You can do everything yourself and become popular. There's artists that don't have labels. You know what I mean? Because mainstream is where the labels are at. If you want to be mainstream, if you want to be that type of artist, but if you just want to make money and be successful and live off of that, there's plenty of artists that's doing that right now.
Super established, but early on, you kind of need that label. And labels tend to invest in way more men than they do women. And this is just because, again, men tend to be at the top of the rap space. They tend to dominate the rap space. But when a label does invest in a woman, especially a label that we would consider a major label, they pretty much, more likely than not, tend to go kind of all in.
It's one thing that I noticed about Ice Spice. I never really liked Ice Spice. I like her now, not as an artist, but she's very, very unique looking. And I don't say that in a bad way. She's so unique looking to me. Like she has this, it's a certain look. I don't know what it is, but she has a very unique look. You know what I'm saying? She almost looks like a Japanese animated character to me. You know what I'm saying? Like her eyes are big, her lips are big. She has big features. You know what I'm saying? Like she just looks like I don't know, like she's gonna say some Japanese character shit. You know what I mean?
On that specific artist, and they try to basically make an attempt at having an answer to Nicki Minaj, because Nicki Minaj has been the prototype and the gold standard for this current era of female rap. And by going all in, this means massive budgets for music creation, features, massive budgets for marketing, including interviews and billboards and advertisements all over the place, and the best producers they can find, and oftentimes even writers to help assist that artist in creating music. They basically treat this person like they have the potential to be this huge, massive Billboard topping #1 star. Kind of like how if you were to have a young LeBron James on your team, you're going to invest pretty much all of your resources into creating an environment where LeBron can succeed, because you know that this young kid LeBron could possibly be one of the greatest of all time if you...
I understand exactly what you're saying. And I do believe that the music industry does do that. They do it with a lot of artists, but I'm guessing what he's saying is for females, they do it even on a grander scale. So I understand where you're coming from.
Give them the right surroundings. Investing major resources into people that you signed to be a star isn't the problem itself. The problem comes in when people enter the space
Oh my God. Bruh. Oh. I hate to blow it up, but I'm sorry, ladies. She did it to herself. Oh, man. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
taking advantage of these massive resources being pumped into their career. And this doesn't just happen with women, it happens with men as well. But right now, I feel like over the last couple of years, this last era of rap, we've been seeing this happen more and more often with women than with men, just because, not necessarily, again, I'm not saying, those type of plants don't exist for men, but I feel like a lot of labels are attempting this with women because they realize how hot the wave is for female rap right now.
Well, female rap always been exploited to a certain extent, because if you got to understand, a female rapper, if she's not doing what Little Kim did or exploiting herself, they don't particularly care too much. There's so many artists that were female rappers who were great at MCing, but somewhere down the line, they had to exploit themselves in some type of way for them to get to that next level. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was, and it always, I ain't gonna say always will be, but that's what it was. Nicki Minaj was a little bit different because she didn't exploit herself until, I believe, Anaconda. Before that, she was just rapping. She didn't really talk about sex and all that stuff and shaking her ass and all that. Yeah, I have actually have Nicki Minaj's mixtape that was, I mean, 100 tracks on that joint. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different. I think that a lot of females nowadays, they automatically run towards the exploitation.
And how kind of they can just hopefully place somebody in that same bubble that's going crazy and going up right now. And this leads up to a lot of people entering the space basically just trying to hit a lick, entering the space trying to just get a leg up, to use rap as a stepping stool to basically do whatever else they want to do something they actually want to do, or just in general get their clout up and be, you know, lit on Instagram and lit on social media. This leads to some artists being put in positions that they never should have been in, especially when they don't really have a care for the art form and they don't really have the work ethic that somebody in their position really should have. And of course, this ends up with, you know, a negative return for most fans. And also it ends up taking away opportunities from other women in the space who actually could have gone crazy with that opportunity.
Okay, so I understand what he's saying, but you got to understand what we're working with here. The machine is fighting against people like this, or they don't want to platform people like this. And I blame that on certain content creators too, including myself. I'm blamed for it too. I ain't going to sit here and lie. We don't platform artists like this. And this is the reason why they don't get the push that they need or they deserve. Like I'll give you a perfect example, like Rhapsody. I don't see too many people platforming Rhapsody or putting her on a pedestal knowing that she's a super good MC, a super good artist. Because, believe it or not, a good portion of us, we like the sensationalism. We like that bullshit. I hate to say it, but a good portion of us, we like airhead rap. We like dumb shit. We do. Most of us don't want to hear conscious shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? But this is the reason why they're not platformed, because they're not where they're at, because we ain't platforming them. You know what I'm saying?
Who could have really delivered if they were invested in, like some of these other women end up being invested in. And it overall just takes away opportunities from much more deserving women in the space, especially, and that's especially.
But also, too, you got to understand, like, and I know I just said here, this is another thing, too. A lot of these people don't have the it factor. Some people just don't got it. They don't have stage presence. Some things you just can't teach. You know what I'm saying? That's just that. Some people are just naturally gifted. Nicki Minaj is naturally gifted at what she does. The way she talks, the way she moves, the way she acts, maybe not the work on herself, but she just naturally gifted. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't have that. Some men, some women, they don't have that aura about them. They just plain. You know what I'm saying? They like no frills cereal. They ain't Kellogg's Frosted Flakes or Reese's peanut butter cup cereal. That's the greatest cereal ever made. But they're not that. They're just no frills. Nothing. It's just a plain box. You know what I mean? That's a lot of the artists.
Bad when there aren't that many opportunities to begin with for these women in the space. So, you know, of course, there's nothing really wrong with hitting a lick. Like, I don't mind that, you know, doing something just to get your money up, help your family out, pay your rent, buy a house, do all that. That's great. But at the end of the day, when you end up taking opportunities from somebody who deserves it a lot more than you probably do and works at it way harder than you do and cares way more than you do, and then you go in there and take that opportunity, not only do you take it from them, but you kind of ruin that opportunity and kind of make it so where labels are way more cautious in actually investing into these artists because they're not getting a return. It's kind of wrong. I won't say it's wrong, but it's kind of a jerk move because you end up ruining it for the people who are behind you waiting to get their opportunity when you go up there and take that opportunity and pretty much just waste it.
Okay, so I totally disagree with that. I know that that's how he feels, and I understand his sentiment. I used to feel that way. But, bro, You cannot knock somebody for taking an opportunity and wasting it. This is America. There is, if you're saying to me that there's only one opportunity per person, that's not fair to the person that's taking the opportunity, even if they waste the opportunity. Maybe they took the opportunity and know they was going to waste it. Maybe they took the opportunity and knew they was going to waste it. But just as hard as they worked to get there, whether they didn't work or not, you got to work the same way. So guess what? You have to figure it out. That's like me saying, I come on YouTube and I get mad because I work harder than all the other YouTubers out there, but they're bigger than me. No, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it happen. You know what I'm saying? There was plenty of times when I was frustrated when I looked at some of these YouTube channels and they don't have no good camera work, no good lighting, no good editing, nothing. And they literally got way more followers than me. I think I said something about that in the beginning. They have way more followers. Their cameras be smudgy, everything, no clarity, nothing. And they not as charismatic as I am. I'm just gonna put that out there. They're not. But these dudes be having hella views and hella people sending them whatever, doing whatever, gifting them shit. Somebody gifting them 100,000 subs and all this shit. I don't get on here and say, I need a better opportunity. No, I made a way. So I can't blame these people for taking, this is America. This is what it is. You fight for that spot. Guess what? I'm going to show you that I'm better. I'm going to figure something out. I'm not going to say, whoa, you took my spot. And that's not fair.
Biggest signs that an artist is kind of a part of this plague that's infected the female rap space. And this isn't like foolproof. You can't use it every single time, but it's a pretty good indicator, is the way that they release music. You just have to kind of pay attention to how this artist puts their music out. If they're coming out and they're just putting out singles here and there, maybe like 2 to 3 singles a year, and they never really talk about an album or projects, or they're not really bringing projects, it's just like 2 to 3 singles a year, then they're probably a part of this plague. If they're just doing a couple features and 2 to 3 singles and not.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. You're saying that the reason why female rap is dying or is a plague is because these females don't take it as serious and they don't consistently do something. So if a female artist comes out with a single every 5 years, right? And they don't put out no album, you basically saying that that's what, or every 3 years or every 2 years, they don't put out nothing. The thing is, right? This is my thing. And I don't think that totally makes that a part of a plague or erasing them. There are other females that can actually step up. But I guess by your logic, you're saying that these people are hoarding that space. They can't even, these other females can't even get into the space because even after 2 years, Cardi B is hoarding that space and they can't get in there. I don't know how you came to that conclusion. I don't. I think that it should be a little more than that. Your explanation should be a little more than that. I don't understand how you came to that conclusion. That's just my opinion.
Only are they only just putting out like 2 to 3 singles a year. These singles are heavily pushed. Like these singles are pushed just as much as some people's albums are pushed. Like when they're coming out with these singles and you see their names all of a sudden everywhere, their ads are all over streaming services and their faces are on billboards even sometimes just for a singles release. They're doing interviews. They're all over the blogs all of a sudden. And then they never drop an album. They're just doing these singles like maybe twice a year.
I could tell you why that is. So albums ain't really a big deal, really a big thing, because people got to understand the way albums work. I believe it's the first 9 songs is what they project to sell an album. So if you do an album with 9 or 8 or 9 songs, that's all it counts. If you do an album with more songs longer than that, yeah, okay. But that's not how they count it. That's number one. Number two, I think it's 3,700 streams or 3,500 streams is considered an album sale, right? So the reason why they do these pushes on this on the streaming and on the interviews and all that stuff is because that one single can go platinum, right? what happens when they drop an album? What happens? That is counted as an album sale. I don't know how they do it like that. I don't know what they do, but that's what they do. For every single is counted as an album sale. So if they got 3 singles, it's counted as an album sale. That's how they look at it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like you physically sold a single. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. Number two, a lot of these artists, the reason why they only do singles is because they don't have enough material to push out an album, or the record label didn't give them enough money to put out an album. You know what I'm saying? Or they just ain't ready to put out an album. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm caping for the artist or this. I'm just giving y'all what I believe it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of record labels, a lot of artists, they do female, especially female artists. I just think a lot of them, they lack creativity. You know what I'm saying? And I don't say that to be derogatory or mean anything, but most of them, they do follow trends. They don't know how to create anything. You know what I'm saying? There are some out there that do that, but for the most part, they just follow whatever the other girl is doing or similar to it.
That's a big sign, at least according to me and what I've been watching, in terms of these people who are kind of in this plague space, who are really infecting the female rap space. These people who, when their album finally comes up, it's maybe less than 13 songs. They just kind of made an album because it's in the contract. They have to make an album.
But that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. They only gonna give you that amount of songs because anything after that, it doesn't really count. I believe it's something like that. It doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's another thing too. If your single isn't doing good, right? They're going to push for another one, or they're going to go with somebody else. They're not going to push an album if your single isn't doing good. So this is why they do all these press runs and they do all this advertisement, because they're trying to persuade the person that's in front of you for you to buy that person's album. That's marketing 101. I don't understand how people have a problem with marketing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Wouldn't you want your favorite artist to do the same thing? You would want your favorite artist to do the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? Or the record labels to do the same thing for your favorite artist. But I understand what you're essentially saying is these artists isn't really that good, but they're getting pushed. So I understand that. But to them, they're good, and to the marketing is good, but I understand what he's saying. Let's go.
But they really just want to release 2 to 3 heavily marketed singles every year. That's a major sign of the play. Kind of look at the pattern and the layout of Ice Spice's career over the last 2 years. She really fits that exact description that I'm kind of putting out there. 2 to 3 singles a year, heavily marketed, and then the album comes up and maybe there's 10 songs on it, but they really don't want to do an album, so they don't do an album very often. But I will say, I don't think Ice Spice is a part of the plague. And I know that may be a hot take because right now, again, everyone's raining on Ice Spice's parade, like I said in like my previous video, but I don't think she's part of the plague, and I'll get into that later on down the line. But that kind of Ice Spice formula that she's been doing over the last year, that is the formula of somebody who is typically a part of the plague. A perfect example of this plague is the dichotomy of the City Girls. The City Girls were one of the biggest hip-hop acts going into like the pandemic at the end of the 2010s, and they were kind of some of the pioneers of this current wave of female rap that we're seeing right now. But over the last couple of years, they were pretty much dead in the water. Their last project before they ended up going their separate ways sold like 6K first week. It was just pretty.
See, here's the thing, right? City Girls. Here's the thing. And I will agree with you on this. A lot of these labels, they do slap makeup and wigs on these girls and tout them out. But the problem is the negativity that surrounds these women, what they're coming with. See, here's the thing. No matter what happens, most people, I would say a good portion of people, only listen to them as just music. They don't take what they say serious, or they don't look at it as if they can they're models or role models for their life. Like, I'm gonna give it to y'all straight. I had 2 white girls in my car, right? And the 2 white girls in my car wanted to listen to Sexy Red. And they were singing Sexy Red song, but I picked these girls up. You know what I'm saying? Picked them up for somebody. And I picked them up and they lived in like a mini mansion. But they wanted to listen to Sexy Red. They not from that. But guess what? They like the song. But you know what? On Monday, they taking their ass back to work. And they not really worried about it. It's just a fun time. That's what I think a lot of these female artists, these female rappers like City Girls, it's just a fun time. It's hoe rap. You know what I'm saying? It's slut walk rap. It's not really to be taken serious. Now, do some of them do? Yeah, but most of them, this is what happens. You know what I'm saying? And most people look at it that like they'll like it, but they won't support it to the point where they have to get it. It's not a necessity. You know what I'm saying?
Much over for them. And as we're seeing today, it's very obvious who was the real rapper of the group and who was the person just kind of getting a lick off rap, just kind of going up off of rap just because it was something to do. Because JT has been grinding ever since her and Young Miami split. She started off releasing some of her own solo songs. Then she did like a little tour in these very, very small venues, like nightclub venues. And then she ended up releasing her own album. And then I believe she's going on tour again. So she's really been grinding. She's really been putting a lot of effort into making music a full-time, successful career for herself.
And that goes back to your point earlier, getting in front of somebody, right? This is what the artist's supposed to do. That's what you do. You grind. So you saying that somebody taking their shot? No, you supposed to take their shot. I could guarantee you if she keep doing this in the next year, she gonna be just big as Ice Spice or whatever. Because she grinding. That's what you're supposed to do.
Kind of kind of put herself in a space to be ridiculed and joked on because she went from being one of the hottest acts in rap, especially in the female rap space at the end of the 2010s, to somebody who's performing in, 100-seaters or maybe a hookah lounge or a nightclub or, a bar and grill. Like she went to these very, very small venues and actually is going and putting herself out there as a solo artist and grinding. And that's hard to do. It's hard to humble yourself when you go from somebody who's, on tour with Lil Baby to now your local hookah lounge. That's hard to do. So you can really see that she really wants it. She's really grinding. While on the other hand, we have Young Miami, who is definitely part of the plague. I don't even know if you could really consider her an artist at this point. She definitely doesn't write, her own rhymes or her own raps, or at least she hasn't been for the most part. We all know about that Act Up verse and Lil Yachty and the part that he played and actually making that a reality. But it's just very clear that she just doesn't really have a passion like that for music. It's not something that she really just desperately wants to do and just has a love for and really even has the work ethic for it. She just kind of, releases some songs every now and then here and there.
And I 100% agree with you on that part. You know what I'm saying? Like people like her, when you say skip the line, I get it. I understand what you mean. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, you got to grind for it. You know what I'm saying? But some people feel as though that they that bitch and they deserve it no matter what. And I believe that's how she feel. You know what I'm saying? I believe that's how she feel. But listen, you only as hard as you work. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't working hard, you ain't gonna go nowhere. And if you think there's things gonna be given to you, I don't know what to tell you.
There some features here and there. She doesn't really do that much of her own music. At least she hasn't up until this point. And it just really doesn't feel like her heart is in the rap space. It really just feels like this was a way, or she really just wanted to be famous, and this was kind of her way to do it. She found some success as a rapper, a part of the City Girls, and just kind of rode into the sunset doing that and didn't really, I don't even know if she expected to get this far. It's just very clear that this isn't something she really wanted to do. I will say this, though, there are a bunch of things that she can do. Like, she can still go and do great things. I think she'd be great in, like, the reality show space. She's got a podcast that's very successful. She can do super good things in the podcasting space and have a lucrative career there. It's just very obvious that her music career, I mean, like, it only goes as far as the label wants to fund it. And at the moment, it feels like the label just doesn't want to fund it anymore because why would they? If I have to give a whole bunch and put a whole bunch of money behind you to get anything out of you, It's just not worth it. It's just probably not worth it more times than not. And when we look at the City Girls as a group and how we're going to remember the individual members, JT is the rapper, and Young Miami is kind of like, you know, the mascot of the group. She was really the City Girls, like, aura personified. She was the personality. She was the one that brought people in. But in terms of being an artist and
I need to see them without no makeup. I need to see them without no makeup. Let me see. I need to see them without no makeup. Without the eyelashes and without the makeup. Because I don't know, man. Got some nice bodies. I don't know if they had some work done, but I don't know.
rapper, that's just not really her thing. She just kind of took advantage of the fame, and now we're sitting here, and I don't really know what she's going to do going into the future. I don't know if she's going to continue to make music. She said something about her label not wanting her to put music out because she hasn't developed. I don't know what's going to happen with her, but it's very clear that she's somebody that's in the position that she's in today, not because she has a crazy work ethic and she loves rap and she just needs to do this and she wants to be an artist, but because the label was able to put her in that position because she kind of fit the bill of what was going on at the time. Saweetie is another artist who I believe is part of this plague that's entered the female rap space. And to me, at this point, Saweetie's more influencer than she is artist. And that's not me trying to be like super rude. That's just kind of how I view her. She does still have some songs that go viral and, you know, maybe they get on the Billboard Hot 100, but you have to really remember that push for Saweetie a couple years ago. If you were really paying attention like 3 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, there was a really big push for Saweetie and really trying to make her work. And again, she had some hits here and there. Like she has some songs that go viral. It's not like she's a complete trash can artist. She's not the worst rapper of all time, but there was a really big push for her. She even had a McDonald's meal like a couple years ago. And that, like, you know, McDonald's isn't, you know, fine dining or anything like that, but it's one of the biggest and most recognizable brands on this planet. Listen to this list of names of people who have had McDonald's meals. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Travis Scott, J Balvin, BTS, Mariah Carey, even Cardi B and Offset. And then you have Saweetie. And that name just kind of sticks out there. I'm sorry. She has almost 13 million followers on Instagram, and her latest project, I believe, sold like less than 2,000 first week, or somewhere around 2,000 first week.
That's crazy. That's why I tell you, social media doesn't mean anything. Most people just like you because they like your swag, or they like how your pictures are set up. They like your camera angle. They don't really like your music. You know what I'm saying? You could have all those millions of subscribers and millions of followers, and these people don't even buy your shit. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
That's insane. And again, she has some hits here and there, some songs that kind of pop up and go a little bit viral online maybe. But she's released 2 albums in the last like 3-4 years, and those albums both have 7 songs on them. 7 songs. If it's not clear that she's hitting a lick here, I don't know what I can do to make that clear to you. Yeah, she might actually like music here and there, but like anybody that's released 2 projects over the last however long, and both of them have 7 songs on them, it's clear that they just don't really have a work ethic for the rap space. They just don't really care that much. They're not going to put that much into it. They're just kind of going along as they can, and they might need a hit here and there, and maybe they'll get one. Maybe they need a big song here, so they'll lock in kind of, but it's just very clear that some of these people are just here to hit a lick, and they have to release albums because it's a part of the contract. One name that I do have to throw in there too, and this is somebody that I actually really do kind of like. Like, I really don't want to do this, but it's Cardi B. She's damn near patient zero of this plague in female rap. Because, again, like I said with Saweetie, she's pretty much an influencer at this point.
I have to agree. Cardi B, I never took her serious. Even with Bodak Yellow and all that stuff, I never took her serious. Motorsport and those. Like, she has a very distinct hip hop voice though. But now to me, after she got married and had a baby, she can't really talk about whole rap shit no more. She can't. It sounds weird to me now. I think she had a new song on some whole shit, but it just sounds like now you're just doing that just to make, like he said, like just for a lick, like for real.
There's no denying the amount of backing and label support that went into Cardi B and making her a star. She is like really probably the first attempt at a label making their own Nicki Minaj that was actually viable. And somebody that was actually kind of a threat to Nicki at a point, like really kind of breathing down her neck, especially like around the time of like Invasion of Privacy and then going all the way into WAP. She was kind of breathing down Nicki's neck. But, you know, at this point, I don't know. But the amount of money that
I'm on the fence with that. I don't know if she was breathing down Nicki's neck. I don't know about that. I know she was in the space. You know what I'm saying? But to say, I don't know, I'm yarning. You know what I'm saying? To say that she was breathing down her neck, I don't know. Maybe because it's less females. I look at it like this. Nicki Minaj or Cardi B, Meg, Gorilla, City Girls, whoever. Nicki Minaj, here. They're here, and Nicki Minaj can't even see my hand. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying?
went into marketing her as a star and the label doing pretty much whatever they could, getting Bruno Mars involved, making music with her and putting her face everywhere. Like they put a lot behind Cardi B. There's no denying that. But it's just very clear that this isn't really something that she wants to do. Music isn't something that she really has her heart in. Now, she's, out here doing a whole bunch of other stuff. She's doing other business ventures and in movies and shows and showing up on red carpets, just doing everything that celebrities do and really enjoying the celebrity/influencer lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're making music at the same time. Like, if you're doing all that, but you're still making music, cool, fine, whatever. But when you're doing all that, but not making music, at least not consistently, I think that goes to show where your focus is. For as much crap as labels do get nowadays, which is deserved, don't think I'm up here trying to fight for labels or anything like that. You can't deny how much Atlantic really put into making Cardi B.
Okay, so let's look at her. I don't know, man. A lot of makeup. Cardi B, I seen her without makeup. She's not a bad looking woman without makeup. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times makeup ruins women's face. Eventually pierces through your skin and it breaks you down. So I don't know. But she definitely looked like she got some veneers though. Did she get some fake teeth? She probably did. But damn, nigga, if you seen her on the street, you definitely trying to holler because she be like, damn, she bad as hell.
Star. And I also say this about Cardi. I do like her music. Again, a lot of her stuff I enjoy. She makes good music. But her album Invasion of Privacy came out 6 years ago, her debut album, and it was a good album. It did great on pretty much all the metrics that you can look at it. It was a great success for Cardi B, and I liked it. I thought it was a really good project. But it's been 6 years since her debut album. 6 years. And look, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happened in her life. I know she's become a mother and a whole bunch of other things. She got married and, she might have took a break because of whatever. Things happen in life, right? It happens. She's not the first artist to ever take a long break in between albums. Look at somebody like Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar took 5 years in between Damn and Mr. Morale. But if music was something that she really, honest to God, wanted to do, there's no way that she's going to take 6 years in between albums.
Now I could understand where he coming from with that. That's kind of true. This is why I say Nicki Minaj is here and they're all here. Even the great Lauryn Hill. You know what I'm saying? I put Nicki over her too. Because Nicki Minaj has been doing music consistently. And whether you say she got classics or not, Some people feel she do. You know what I'm saying? Some people feel her first album was a classic. But she kept it going. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. And on top of that, she got some great music. And on top of that, she can really rap. I know some people said that Safari wrote some raps for her or whatever. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Be real here. Like, again, you can be a fan of Cardi B. I'm a fan of Cardi B, but there's no way you can legitimately look at me in the face and tell me, yes, she really wants to be a rapper. She really has the work ethic to be a rapper when she hasn't dropped an album in 6 years. 6. Again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, she does the method of, 2 to 3 heavily marketed singles a year that she really gets behind. The label really gets behind. Her face is all of a sudden everywhere. She's being pushed by the label. She's all on the blogs. She's even doing interviews. Like, she follows that method. But no album in 6 years is wild. And even if you look at Kendrick taking a break on Mr. Morale, or taking a break all the way up until Mr. Morale, or even Nicki, her closest rival, taking a break between Queen all the way up until like Pink Friday 2. Those guys took like 5 years in between their projects, but they were on their 5th album by the time that they took that break. 4th or 5th album by the time they took that break. They had been in the game for 10 years by the time they took that break. Cardi B is on her debut album still.
He's speaking facts right now. He's speaking 100% facts. He's speaking facts. Let's go.
Like it's one thing to take a 5-year break when you're on your 5th album going into 6. The people already got a whole bunch of music from you. They're fine. They'll be okay. You're already a legend, like a Nicki Minaj. She's a legend already. She already has 5 albums. She can take a break. You have 1 album and you take a 6-year break. You just don't want it that bad, bro. You just don't really want to be a rapper for real. It's just something that you kind of lucked into, and it's a lick you could hit that could get you into these other spaces. And I really should have.
That was a big lick for her. Yo, that was a giant lick for her. I ain't gonna even lie.
Seen this kind of coming with Cardi B because, again, I do like her, but again, I should have seen this coming because what was she before she was a rapper? And I'm not talking about that other job that involves dancing. She was a reality star, and she was kind of an influencer online.
On her, though. I ain't gonna
and
lie.
what do those people tend to do when there isn't a direct line of like income? When they don't have a solid career to make money from, they're making money off of maybe ads on Instagram and other appearances. When they don't have that solid structure of income from at least one place, what do influencers tend to do? They start rapping. Yeah. So that really should have been a major red flag for me, considering I knew who Cardi B was before she started rapping. But
the thing about that, I believe she went to one of the guys on the show, and she told him that she had a single. He turned her down, and she released the single, and it blew up. I know he's salty right now. I know he's salty.
She, in my opinion, is a part of this plague. A failed example of this would be somebody like Bad Baby. Bad Baby jumped into the rap space, and honestly, she got a couple decent songs here and there. She got some stuff that, I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty solid. But at the end of the day, just because you're a part of the plague means all of the music you make is bad. I'm not saying that. That's never what I've been saying. But she honestly was somebody who I think was a few years too soon. Like, if she would have been doing this in like 2021, 2022, who knows? Bad Baby might be one of the biggest names in the rap industry right now. Who knows, right? But she's an example of somebody who tried to take advantage of the plague. Maybe she was a little too early. The vaccines were still kind of strong back. Ooh, I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, but they were still kind of strong back then. So, she was a little too early. And another failed example of somebody trying to take advantage of this plague is Chrisean Rock. Chrisean Rock, she just wasn't good, in my opinion. I don't.
Yeah, her songs was trash. I will say this. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but she's the best looking out of all of them to me. At least not when she was with Blueface, but when she was by herself. I seen some younger pictures of her. I don't know how old she is, but she was a very beautiful girl. She's a very, very beautiful woman. Very beautiful to me. You know what I'm saying? But she just hood, and ain't nothing wrong with hood girls. Let me get y'all correct. Ain't nothing wrong with hood girls, but I know sometimes it's just a turn off when a beautiful girl just talk like she got an axe in her mouth or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
think she ever made a good song. So she was just never really going to work in general. But she was, again, somebody who tried to take advantage of this plague, trying to hit a lick off rap real quick. And honestly, in my opinion, both of these women fit the bill of what I talked about sort of with Cardi B. And that is somebody, well, Cardi B not so much as these two. These two really fit the bill. Cardi B just kind of fits it. But like influencers who have a whole bunch of clout and no direct line of income. And so what do? They pick up a microphone and start rapping. They got writers behind them. Blueface is writing Chris Sean's raps and trying to produce it. That's what influencers do when they don't know where they're going to consistently get money from. Enter the music space. Now, there are some names that people probably would like me to throw into this kind of plague space, those in particular being Sexyy Red and Ice Spice. Now, I honestly would majorly disagree, especially for Sexyy Red. Maybe we can talk about Ice Spice, but for Sexyy Red, I highly disagree. Now, look, you might not like Sexyy Red, okay? You might think she's trashy. She's a poor example for other women. She, makes terrible music. You might not like her music. You might say a whole bunch about Sexyy Red, but I don't believe that she is just somebody kind of taking advantage of rap. I think she genuinely cares about her music. And maybe she doesn't genuinely care. Maybe she is just trying to make money, but she at least makes up for it with her work ethic. In the last year, she's dropped two albums, two projects. And she's
so I just gotta do the same thing with her. Hold on.
consistently putting out singles and putting out features. So for me personally, look, you might not like her.
All right, so let's take a look. I don't know. But all right, so I'm gonna say this about Sexyy Red. I don't really particularly like Sexyy Red. I think she definitely is toxic for the ears for females. But I will say that she does what she wants. And she's not a follower. I will say that. She has her own thing going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's why she stands out. And I hate to say this, but she's a different version of Lil' Kim. You know what I'm saying? To me, she's just a different version. She ain't a better version. She's just a different version of Lil' Kim. The new age Lil' Kim, Sexyy Red. The niggas gonna hate that.
You might not like Sexyy Red. She might not be your cup of tea. You might think she's trashy, a terrible, nasty, gross human being. But, and I don't know. That might be a little bit far. But like, you just might not like her, let's just say. But she definitely at least has the work ethic to show me that she cares somewhat. It's not like she's just here to hit a lick. She puts out a song here and there and then just goes off and wants to do, Instagram lives and be all over the shade room. That's not really what her focus is. Her focus is music, and that's what it seems to be. She's on tour, or at least trying to go on tour. She's always showing up at somebody's performance. She's at Rolling Loud all the time. She's always doing something music related, and she's been making music even before she blew up. It isn't like, she was making songs and then she didn't really work out with the rap thing and then she just put it down, or maybe she never really rapped and maybe somebody encouraged her to make a song, then she blew up and then she signed to a label. No, she's been making music for a long time. So I will say, I don't think Sexyy Red is a part of the plague. Now, Ice Spice is debatable, but I'm not gonna lie, she does seem to be working decently hard in music. Like, she's been putting out music at a respectable clip. She also just put out an album. She had an album or an EP maybe a year and a half ago. So she's putting out music at a respectable clip. You might not like it. You might consider it complete trash and it's just horrible. And maybe she just needs to, do something else with her life or get some writers or something. Maybe, you might not like anything she's doing, but you can't deny that she is at least putting in the work. She's putting in the work. She's going on tour right now. She's headlining her own shows. Like, Ice Spice might not be that good just yet. She might be extremely green as an artist, but it does feel like she is actually attempting to be an artist. It's not like...
And I'm going to say this about Ice Spice. You only get better if you keep on working at it. And trust and believe. She found her sound, and her name is buzzing, and she keep on doing work. That's how it goes. She done more work than Cardi B, and Cardi B been out longer than her, and she put out more projects than Cardi B, and she's big. Not saying she's big as Cardi B, but and if Ice Spice is around a year from now, what can you really say to her?
She's just doing this to kind of hit a lick, at least at the moment. Maybe I'll look back on this video in 5 years when Ice Spice is just, doing Instagram lives every now and then and maybe has a show on Zeus. And I might say, man, I really missed the mark there. But she does at least seem to be trying to be a rapper. So again, I want to make that point very clear because people might misunderstand that. I feel like that's something that people might not get. I'm not saying you have to be good in order to not be a part of the plague. Being bad as a rapper doesn't necessarily make you a part of this plague that I'm talking about, but being somebody who just doesn't really care for the space at all and doesn't care for music makes you a part of the plague, okay? These women who are in these positions being pushed by these major labels who don't really care about the space just leave a bad taste in everyone's mouth, and it takes away from opportunities of women who actually really care and actually really want to be rappers and really want that opportunity and really could kill it if they got that opportunity from these massive labels. But because the people that go in there...
Again, I disagree with that. I think that if you make your own wave, like how you think these people got discovered? You know what I'm saying? Some of them probably knew somebody, but let's go.
And don't really care about the space, they end up kind of ruining it for everyone, especially when there's only a handful of opportunities to typically go out for these labels on these, or for these women on these major labels. Because when somebody like a Young Miami goes in there and, she gets all the funding and the backing, and then when she goes in her own solo career, she just kind of doesn't really put out music and doesn't really do anything, doesn't really progress as an artist, it makes labels way more likely to be hesitant when it comes to signing female rappers in the future and giving them that same treatment that they just gave somebody who basically flushed all their money down the toilet. But that's going to be the end of my video. If you made it this far, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. If you agree, if you disagree, whatever you got to say, let me know down below in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to all those things. It helps me out a ton. I go by the name of Pay. Peace.
Hey, man, that was a pretty good video. I know it was longer than usual, but hey, it is what it is. You gotta do the content. So that was a pretty good video. I agree certain things, some things I disagree with. You know what I'm saying? But make sure y'all go check him out, man. It's gonna be in the description. Source will be in the description. I also want to say, no matter how big I get, I'm always gonna help out the smaller channels, and that's just that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna never get too big where I'll be like, nah, man, I ain't shouting them out. Nah, it's not me. So, y'all have yourself a good night, man. See y'all tomorrow morning. Peace. Bye.